army of digital soldiers. But we have what we call citizen journalists. And so the American people decided to take over the idea of information. They took over the idea of information. And they did it through social media.
Stuck to the plan, always said that we would stand up, never ran. We the family, loyalty never change up. Been down since day one, look at where we came from. Jumping out on anybody who try to say something. One thing about it, got a problem, I got the same one. Money rolls, we fold, plenty clubs, we close. Follow the same code, never turn our backs, so cars don't even lose control. Shot, everything rides on tonight. Even if I've got 3 strikes, I'ma go for it. This moment, we own it. I ride or die to be played with because it could get dangerous. I ride or die people I ride with. This moment, we own it. This moment, we own it. I ride or die for mine. I'm ride or die material. One life to live, so here we go. This moment, we own it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Looking for a fast way to track what's moving online right now? Head over to Qnotables.com. It's a centralized index of notable clips, headlines, and references being shared across the community, organized for quick browsing. Use it to spot patterns, pull links, and build your own research list. Qnotables.com. Browse the notables, verify the facts, stay informed. All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Board's May 29th, 2026, good morning and welcome in. We start today with the top story. A direct security flashpoint in the Middle East. Iran is back at the top of the board after U.S. Central Command said a ballistic missile was launched toward Kuwait and intercepted by Kuwaiti forces. CENTCOM called the incident an egregious ceasefire violation. That comes alongside reported Iranian drone activity near the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important shipping lanes on Earth. American forces remain active across the region, and the message from CENTCOM is readiness, presence, and deterrence. CENTCOM also released imagery of a U.S. Army CH-47 Chinook helicopter lifting off from an airfield in the Middle East for a scheduled flight. On its own, it is a routine military update. In context, it shows continued U.S. mobility across a region dealing with Iranian missile activity, drone threats, and fragile ceasefire conditions. The military signal is simple. American assets are moving, watching, and prepared. CENTCOM also highlighted the USS Abraham Lincoln conducting flight operations while transiting the Arabian Sea. Carrier operations in that region matter because they project American air power near several active flashpoints. With Iran tensions, drone activity, and shipping lane concerns all in play, the presence of a U.S. carrier strike group sends a clear message. The United States is keeping serious military capability close to the fight. That leads directly into the larger strategic question surrounding Iran, energy, and American industry. A circulated claim argues that President Trump's Iran strategy is tied to stopping Iran's central bank from weaponizing energy prices against American industry. The broader issue is real. Oil markets, central banking, sanctions, and regional conflict all connect. Hostile regimes can use energy as leverage. Trump's Iran posture is being viewed through that economic security lens. From there, we move to domestic politics, where the Trump administration is pushing aggressive changes across money, law, and federal power. President Trump has refiled his $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the publisher of the Wall Street Journal over a report tied to Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book. The original complaint was dismissed, but the court allowed Trump to amend and refile. Trump denies writing the letter described in the report, while the Journal has stood by its reporting. The legal fight is now moving forward again, and the case remains politically explosive. OMB Director Russ Vought is leading a major overhaul of federal grant distribution, affecting up to $1 trillion in taxpayer funds. The plan gives political appointees greater control over approvals, tightens fraud reviews, requires stronger compliance rules, and aligns grants with administration priorities. Supporters call it long overdue oversight. The key takeaway is direct. Federal grant money is now under a much tighter microscope. HHS is expanding scrutiny of autism-related Medicaid billing after audits found major concerns with questionable payments. North Carolina has drawn attention over a dramatic spike in autism therapy billing, and federal auditors are reviewing whether state Medicaid payments complied with program rules. This is being framed as a fraud, waste, and abuse issue inside programs meant to serve vulnerable children. DNI Tulsi Gabbard is reportedly working to declassify sensitive information before her scheduled June 30 departure. The material being discussed includes intelligence-related records tied to DEW claims and COVID-19. Gabbard has already released politically explosive intelligence documents during her time as Director of National Intelligence. This final stretch could bring another major document release before she exits. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent pushed back against California Governor Gavin Newsom's proposal to tax compensation payments from Trump's anti-weaponization fund at 100%. Bessent publicly dismissed the plan while California officials framed it as a response to federal settlement money. The fight is now about whether states can claw back payments intended for people claiming they were targeted by government weaponization. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has also confirmed that the Treasury has prepared a proposed design for a $250 bill featuring President Donald Trump. The bill would be tied to America's 250th anniversary, but Congress would need to approve changes because current law bars living people from appearing on U.S. currency. For now, the design exists, and the final decision sits with lawmakers. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has called a special session aimed at reducing and eventually eliminating homestead property taxes for homeowners. The proposal would increase the homestead exemption immediately and set a path toward broader elimination through state law. If successful, Florida could become the center of a national debate over whether homeowners should keep paying taxes on property they already own. 17 Maryland sheriffs are suing the state over a new law that limits cooperation with federal immigration authorities. The sheriffs argue the law forces local officers to hold back information and blocks cooperation with ICE unless specific legal conditions are met. This is another major front in the fight between state sanctuary policies and local law enforcement officials who say public safety is being compromised. Colorado is facing backlash over legislation tied to children, vaccines, and access to services. Critics argue the state is moving toward more pressure on families who decline vaccination. Supporters frame these bills as public health protection, but opponents see an expansion of state power over children, parents, and medical decision-making. The fight now centers on parental rights and medical freedom. H.R. 3497, the Medal of Sacrifice Act, would establish a national medal honoring eligible law enforcement officers and first responders killed in the line of duty. The bill has moved with strong support and is designed to formally recognize those who gave their lives in public service. At a time of rising attacks on police and emergency workers, the message is respect, sacrifice, and remembrance. Vice President J.D. Vance delivered the commencement address at the U.S. Air Force Academy, warning graduates about the danger of handing life and death decisions to artificial intelligence. Vance told future officers that human judgment must remain central in warfare. His speech connected military duty, moral responsibility, and emerging technology at a time when AI is rapidly entering defense planning.
Start your day right with Ahoy the Ship Show, where real talk meets real energy. No fluff, no filter, just stories, opinions, and moments that matter. Catch us live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Your daily launch point for what you need to know, and a few things you didn't. Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Switch gears with Night Owl News Archives. A laid-back dive into the week's biggest headlines and hidden gems. Miss a show? Visit don'tdeletemebro.com for notes, highlights, and extras. Tap in or get left behind.
At shop.isawaya.com, everything you buy supports Akun.top, the place where people talk freely no matter what. Check out our Akun Honey Pot, a jar of yummy honey that's as strong as your voice. Put it on toaster and tea. It's not just honey, it's freedom in every bite. Then there's Akun Butter, a smooth handmade skin cream that makes you feel good while you fight for what's right. Awesome wooden pieces for display only. Hang them up or set them out. They're for showing off Akun's tough spirit. Want to help even more? Get a proto membership. So go to shop.isawaya.com now and grab some goodies. Help Akun.top keep free speech alive, and let's keep the ideas flowing loud and free.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Boards, May 29, 2026. A lighter moment from the Air Force Academy ceremony went viral when a graduating cadet gave Vice President J.D. Vance a chest bump on stage. Vance had just delivered the commencement address, and the cadet's move drew cheers from the crowd. In a ceremony filled with military tradition, the unscripted moment gave the event a human and memorable finish. RFK Jr. drew attention after posting video of himself wrangling a venomous rattlesnake near his home. The clip followed earlier criticism over his handling of snakes at Dr. Oz's property. Supporters saw it as classic Kennedy confidence outdoors. Critics questioned the safety of handling venomous snakes. Either way, the video became a viral political sideshow. RFK Jr. is also drawing renewed attention for questioning America's heavy reliance on antidepressants. His argument fits into his broader health agenda, which focuses on chronic disease, pharmaceutical influence, and whether Americans are being over-medicated instead of properly treated. Mental health, drug safety, and big pharma are now part of the national political conversation. Spencer Pratt is back in the news cycle after interviews and comments targeting Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. Pratt contrasted his own reality TV past with Bass's past travel and political activity in Cuba. The comments are being shared as part of a broader criticism of Bass's leadership and ideology. It is celebrity commentary, but it is landing inside a serious political fight over Los Angeles. Mark Levin is arguing that the left spent decades building institutional power through schools, courts, media, bureaucracy, and culture. His point is that today's political conflict did not appear overnight. It was built layer by layer over 40 years. The larger issue is institutional capture and whether voters can still reverse it through elections. Commentary around Jeff Bezos is circulating after claims that his actions exposed weakness inside the Democrat Party. The broader argument is that major business leaders, tech figures, and media owners are adjusting to new political realities. When billionaires and institutions start shifting posture, it usually means they see power moving. The real story is not one man. It is elite alignment changing in public. Congressman Brandon Gill is being profiled as a young conservative lawmaker drawing national attention. Supporters see him as part of a new generation willing to challenge the old political class directly. Critics see him as a threat because he is young, media-aware, and unapologetic. Either way, his rise shows the Republican bench is changing and younger voices are moving into the fight. Rutland, Massachusetts is facing backlash after canceling its 250th 4th of July celebration while keeping donations. Residents are asking why a milestone patriotic event would be canceled and what happens to the money already collected. In the middle of America's 250th anniversary season, canceling Independence Day events sends a message many residents do not accept. Now to election integrity. A federal judge has allowed President Trump's executive order limiting mail-in voting to remain in place for now. The order is being challenged in court, but the ruling gives the administration room to move forward while litigation continues. The fight is now centered on who controls election procedures, how far executive authority reaches, and whether mail-in ballot access can be restricted by federal action. Foreign election interference is back in focus after claims of an $11.3 billion money trail tied to influence operations. The concern is not just online propaganda. The issue is money, networks, nonprofits, shell structures, and outside influence reaching into American political fights. The central question is simple: who is funding election activity, and are foreign-linked players shaping domestic outcomes? Lift Tina Peters is circulating again among election integrity activists. Peters remains a symbolic figure for people who believe election officials and whistleblowers have been targeted for challenging voting systems. Her supporters want her case revisited, her treatment reviewed, and her name kept alive in the election integrity movement. Roger Stone is raising the Nixon tapes as a comparison point in the fight over Biden-related records. Stone notes that Nixon sued to block the release of his tapes and lost unanimously at the Supreme Court. His argument is straightforward: if Nixon could be forced to release records, Biden should not receive a different standard. The records fight is now about equal treatment under history and law. Now we move overseas, where international conflict continues to widen. A Russian drone has struck a residential apartment building in Galatasaray, Romania, injuring civilians and triggering a sharp NATO response. Romania is a NATO member, which makes this more than another spillover from the Ukraine war. Romanian officials called it one of the most serious security incidents on their soil since the war began, and NATO says it is ready to defend alliance territory. 3 people were stabbed at a train station in Winterthur, Switzerland, in what officials are treating as a terrorist act. Reports say the attacker shouted "Allahu Akbar" during the incident. The suspect was arrested, and the victims were hospitalized. Authorities are reviewing the suspect's background, including reported mental health issues and past extremist indicators. Europe is again facing hard questions about security and radicalization. A 28-year-old man from The Hague was arrested after a false bomb threat triggered the evacuation of City Hall and the Central Library. Heavily armed police, a helicopter, and explosives specialists responded to the scene. Dutch authorities described the man's behavior as unexplained and have not released his identity. The incident shut down a major civic building and caused a large security response. A new opinion piece from Tristan Hopper is challenging the Kamloops residential school graves narrative, arguing that some ground-penetrating radar anomalies could have been septic pipes. Years after the original claim of 215 possible graves, no full excavation has confirmed what is underground. The debate remains explosive because it shaped Canadian politics, churches, and public memory.
Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Boards, May 29, 2026, now to crime and public safety. A global child exploitation platform known as Kidflix was taken down in a major international operation involving authorities from more than 35 countries. Europol said the site had nearly 2 million users and hosted a massive amount of child sexual abuse material. Investigators say some users did more than view content. They also abused children. This is one of the largest child exploitation crackdowns in recent years. A Texas man has been arrested after allegedly threatening to bomb a Turning Point USA event and kill Erica Kirk. Police say Jacob Wensky made online threats tied to the upcoming Women's Leadership Summit in San Antonio. Authorities track the posts using digital records, and the event is expected to move forward with increased security. Political threats are being treated as serious domestic security matters. Italian police have seized more than $200 million in assets tied to late mafia boss Matteo Messina Denaro. Authorities say the fortune came from drug trafficking and was reinvested through properties, cash, gold, and international holdings. Denaro was one of Italy's most notorious crime figures before his arrest and death. The seizure is being treated as a major strike against organized crime wealth. A resurfaced judicial scandal is drawing attention after reports that an Obama-appointed judge accused of inappropriate conduct in chambers remains on the bench. The case is being used as another example of accountability problems inside the judiciary. Judges hold enormous power, and misconduct allegations should not disappear because the person wears a robe. Independent footage from a New York City anti-ICE protest is drawing attention after protesters were confronted on camera. These street-level encounters matter because they show the gap between activist slogans and real immigration enforcement concerns. With sanctuary policies, ICE raids, and deportation fights back in the headlines, protests are becoming a visible pressure point in the national border security debate. Protect the homeland is the message moving through the feed, and it fits the pattern of the day. Border security, foreign missile threats, terror attacks, election interference, cybercrime, and cartel money all point in the same direction. A nation that cannot protect its people, borders, infrastructure, and elections is not secure. Homeland defense is now the central political issue. Now to technology, space, and institutional power. Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket exploded during a pre-launch static fire test at Cape Canaveral, creating a major setback for Jeff Bezos' space company. No injuries were reported, and officials said the incident is under investigation. New Glenn is central to Blue Origin's commercial launch plans and future NASA-related work, making this a serious failure at a critical point in the company's space race with SpaceX. Quantum Space is drawing attention for work tied to spacecraft systems that could support President Trump's Space Force priorities. The company's model focuses on platforms and infrastructure beyond Earth orbit, which fits the growing military and commercial focus on space. The larger issue is clear. Space is no longer just exploration. It is communications, defense, surveillance, and national power. Aliens.gov is now live through the White House, but the twist is that it is not really about extraterrestrials. The site uses science fiction language to point users toward illegal immigration data, ICE arrest maps, and reporting tools. The page says, "They walk among us," then pivots into immigration enforcement messaging. The rollout blends viral marketing, policy messaging, and border enforcement in one unusual package. The White House also posted cryptic teaser videos online, including imagery that looked like a crop circle-style loading screen. The posts sparked speculation before the Aliens.gov rollout clarified the direction. Whether people saw it as trolling, messaging, or political theater, the strategy worked. It got attention, drove traffic, and turned a government immigration page into a viral conversation. Promethean Update is tracking major power shifts involving Kevin Warsh at the Federal Reserve, Trump's Iran strategy, and possible movement toward regional accords. Warsh has called for a major regime change in Fed policy, while the administration continues to push through economic, diplomatic, and security resets. The big picture, financial power, foreign policy, and institutional control are all moving at once. KPMG, Australia's chief executive Andrew Yates, and audit leader Julian McPherson have resigned after a whistleblower investigation exposed concerns over client data handling. The firm admitted its internal review did not meet expectations. Regulators are now looking at the conduct of several auditors. This is another major blow to trust in Big Four consulting and accounting firms after years of global scrutiny. ExxonMobil shareholders have approved moving the company's legal home from New Jersey to Texas. The move passed with strong shareholder support and could help the energy giant operate in a more business-friendly legal environment. Texas has become a magnet for major corporations looking to escape blue state regulation, litigation risk, and higher compliance burdens. Exxon's move is another major corporate realignment. Now to the closing segment. Reports are circulating about the death of former NHL player Claude Lemieux at age 60. Lemieux was one of hockey's most recognizable agitators and a four-time Stanley Cup champion. His career was marked by big playoff moments and a hard-edged playing style. For hockey fans, the news lands as the loss of one of the sport's most controversial and memorable competitors. The 13 family's claim is resurfacing again, pointing back to old arguments about elite bloodlines, inherited power, and hidden influence networks. What matters for the show is why these claims keep returning. People no longer trust visible institutions and are looking for deeper explanations behind money, media, politics, and power. The line, "When you've been far left and biased for decades, balance probably feels like censorship," is spreading because it captures the media fight in one sentence. Legacy institutions often describe viewpoint correction as an attack, but many Americans see it as long overdue balance. The battle is not just over speech, it is over who gets to define neutrality, fairness, and truth. That is the board this morning. Iran testing the ceasefire, NATO watching Romania, Trump moving on election rules, HHS digging into autism billing, OMB tightening the federal money machine, sheriffs fighting sanctuary limits, global police taking down Kidflix, and the White House turning immigration enforcement into viral political theater. The through line is control. Control of borders, control of money, control of elections, control of information, and control of the institutions that shape public life.
Every voice matters. The power of free speech is more important than ever. Imagine a place where you can share your thoughts freely, explore new ideas, and engage in meaningful conversations anonymously. With online anonymity, you can express yourself without fear of judgment. It's about freedom, creativity, and connection. Join the conversation that matters. Embrace your voice. Celebrate your freedom. Visit 8kun.top today. That's 8kun.top.
That's all for now. Stay alert, stay informed, and never hand your thinking over to anyone on a screen, including me. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. See you soon.